The big break in the Yosemite murder cases, a connection between 4 killings and an arrest.
We do not believe that there is anyone else there on the loose.
The gathering of world leaders for a royal funeral in Morocco. And a tour de force at the Tour de France. Cancer survivor Lance Armstrong, an inspiration to others battling the disease.
He was like a miracle on wheels.
From NBC News World Headquarters in New York, this is NBC Nightly News, reported by Len Cannon.
Good evening, everyone. Authorities in California have made an arrest they predict will close the Yosemite sightseer murder case. The suspect is a handyman who lived near where the 3 women disappeared 5 months ago. He's in custody, charged with another murder in the same general area just last week. The story from NBC's Dan Lothian.
The trail of another gruesome Yosemite murder leading investigators to the maintenance man who had worked and lived at this lodge nearby and was picked up at this nudist colony more than 100 miles away, not far from Sacramento. The victim, 26-year-old Joey Ruth Armstrong, had been decapitated. Her body found 4 miles from the lodge where the suspect, 37-year-old Carrie Stainer, worked. Evidence gathered now also making Stainer a suspect in the murders of 3 sightseers earlier this year, Carol and Julie Sund, their friend Silvina Peloso.
With Stainer's arrest, we believe that no other person involved in any of these murders is still on the loose.
Stainer worked at the Cedar Lodge for the past 2 years. It's where the 3 sightseers had stayed and a place Armstrong had visited. The FBI says Stainer had been interviewed after the Sund Peloso murders but was not considered a suspect. Only now, after another crime, has crucial evidence emerged. Carol's son's parents are feeling relief.
Yes, it brings some closure, no question about it.
But investigators are troubled that they might have missed something that could have saved Armstrong's life.
It has been a very difficult investigation. We've had a lot of talented people on it.
Troubling, too, for tourists visiting this natural beauty branded by 2 high-profile murder investigations.
It was really scary, and my husband bolted the door with the chair, put the chair up.
And in one final twist, the suspect's brother, Stephen Stainer, abducted as a child, was in the national spotlight in 1980 after escaping a child molester who had held him for 7 years. Carrie Stainer will be arraigned in the latest Yosemite murder tomorrow as investigators keep trying to build a stronger case in the other killings. Dan Lothian, NBC News, El Portal, California.
Villagers who traveled hundreds of miles joined diplomats and world leaders today for the funeral of King Hassan of Morocco. He was known as a stable presence in the turbulent Middle East. And as NBC's Fred Francis reports, amidst the mourning and prayers, there was a dialogue for peace.
The crowd was estimated at 2 million. There was no way to measure the grief. At times, the mourners moved to the edge of chaos. President Clinton, who had planned to walk behind the king's casket for only a few hundred yards, was apparently caught up in the moment. He stayed with the procession the entire 3 miles to King Hassan's mausoleum. A Clinton aide said it was a spur-of-the-moment decision by the president. While the crowd sang verses from the Quran, Clinton and other dignitaries were frequently jostled from the back and side. One Secret Service agent said it looked like a catastrophe in the making. The president's national security advisor called it dicey, but the president insisted on it. Clinton walked directly behind the new king, 36-year-old Mohammed, while security teams often frantically joined hands to push back the crowds. It was a fitting end for King Hassan, who began his reign 38 years ago as a playboy prince and became a respected peacemaker.
He showed it is possible to promote Islam's holy sites in Jerusalem and to reach out to Israel and the dream of peace, dignity, and security for all God's children in this region.
Even Hassan's death served the purpose of reconciliation. Old enemies walked side by side to honor him, and President Clinton urged many of them to move forward on the peace process. Clinton brought together Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat and Israelis Ehud Barak, and the president's men said it was extraordinary to watch the Israeli interact comfortably in an Arab capital.
You didn't see barriers in that room. You saw a landscape where Arabs and Israelis were existing in a very normal way.
The outpouring of grief, the wailing and the prayers could not dampen the optimism that a king's death is ushering in a new day. Fred Francis, NBC News, Rabat, Morocco.
To France now, where cancer survivor Lance Armstrong scored an amazing victory in the world's premier cycling event. The Tour de France is a 3-week endurance test, pedaling over 2 mountain ranges, a grind broken up only by a plane ride and later a train ride. NBC's Pat Dawson now on how Lance Armstrong conquered more than a race course.
Lance Armstrong's triumph of will ended fittingly at the Arc de Triomphe. A storybook finish from a most unlikely champion.
I never believed it 100% until I crossed the finish line.
For Armstrong, the road to victory was far more grueling than even the nearly 2,300 miles of the Tour de France.
The guy's been through so much. He deserves this more than anybody. He's going to do it, and it's for him. This is his Tour de France, Tour de Lance.
3 years ago, the vibrant young athlete learned a nagging pain was testicular cancer, cancer that had spread to his lungs and brain. The race now was against death. 2 operations followed and months of chemotherapy. But surviving was only part of the struggle. Despite his illness and debilitating effects of chemotherapy, he meant to return to cycling's top ranks. And while doing it, Armstrong has become a symbol of courage for those fighting to survive, like Richie Martin of Tiffin, Ohio.
It just gave me a goal, I think.
At 14, Richie, near death from non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, read about Lance Armstrong in a magazine. A call from his sister led to a meeting and a bit of inspirational advice about attitude.
Showed everybody that it can be done. Showed everybody in the cancer community that you can come back and be the top of what you do.
But the agonizing 3-week challenge that is the Tour would be the final test for Lance Armstrong. Just a year after finishing his last round of chemotherapy, Armstrong would win an unprecedented 4 legs of the event. His lead so imposing, some French newspapers suggested use of performance-enhancing drugs. Tests proved Armstrong's win was fueled only by courage.
I'm living proof that we get second chances and that the second time around is better than the first.
A victory symbolizing more than finishing first. For one young athlete, a triumph of the human spirit. Pat Dawson, NBC News.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, the role model in orbit, Commander Eileen Collins. And later, in focus, the mob's newfound interest in the market.
You already know how important calcium is for your bones, but did you know that 85% of women still don't get enough? So start your day with Total. It's the only leading cereal that's an excellent source of calcium, even before adding milk. In fact, Total has more calcium than the milk itself. No other leading cereal comes close. Simple, low-fat, delicious. So good, you can feel it in your bones. Total Raisin Bran, Total Cornflakes. One bowl, one great source of calcium.
All the way to the corner, girl, can you do a little do-si-do?
Imagine calling a dance without worrying about your dentures slipping. Thanks to the all-day hold of Super Poly Grip, I can laugh and smile and take a healthy bite out of life.
It's here. The GMC Summer Convoy. 2 million tons of professional-grade trucks, designed better than they need to be. Pickups, SUVs, and family vans. And on select 1999 models, some of the best values of the year. So come in now. This is one convoy you don't want passing you by. The GMC Summer Convoy.
In space overnight, the crew of Russia's Mir space station radioed their congratulations to Columbia Shuttle Commander Eileen Collins, the first American woman to command a mission. Tonight, Collins and her crew will make more adjustments to the world's most powerful telescope, which they launched on Friday. Our mission update from NBC's Frederica Whitfield.
Wake up on day 3 of a scheduled 5-day mission. For Air Force Colonel Eileen Collins and her crew, the start of another day orbiting the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour, 188 miles up. An historic mission, a milestone for both NASA and Collins, living out her childhood dream and that of so many female aviators before her.
I didn't get here alone. From the first barnstormers through the Mercury women from back in the early 1960s, All these women have been my role models and my inspiration.
We just think she's marvelous.
Jerry Sloan Truehill was one of those Mercury women of the 60s. Top female pilots once on a track to becoming astronauts.
Say, she is a honey.
Finally, they thought, a program that seemed to consider women pilots not as babes, but as serious, experienced aviators. That is, until...
The night before we were to leave for Pensacola, a telegram came that said, "Sorry, the Women in Space program has been canceled." Period.
Now, after all these years, watching Collins head into space is seen as a victory for all women.
It is such a feeling of, we told you so.
It had been a long time in the making. NASA once boasted of creating opportunities for women.
Opportunities to break free.
But ladies were limited at best to roles as scientists on the ground. It wasn't until 1983 that a girl joined the Boys Club. NASA sent its first female astronaut, Sally Ride, into orbit. 20 other women followed, some breaking records. In 1996, Shannon Lucid orbited Earth in the Russian space station Mir.
My home for 6 months.
An American record, 188 days. And now there's Commander Collins, an inspiration to young girls at this space camp.
Well, I think it's cool that a woman gets to do what men have been doing for years.
And cool for a woman who dreamed of flying, now soaring into the record books. Frederica Whitfield, NBC News, Houston.
To Kosovo now, where NATO troops have increased their patrols around the farming community where 14 Serbs were killed on Friday. The Yugoslav government says the killings demonstrate Kosovo is slipping into anarchy. But tension is also growing in Serbia, where President Milosevic is under increasing pressure. NBC's Jim Maceda tonight.
Even his soldiers are now turning against Yugoslav President Slobodan Milosevic. Here, hundreds of army reservists block roads, complaining they fought in Kosovo for 3 months but haven't been paid. Even active soldiers last paid in May.
We want the families of killed soldiers to be helped, and we want our salaries.
The government has finally promised $100 million in back wages. Few soldiers believe it. Here, riot police put up little resistance, but if Milosevic's forces do crack down on protesters, some fear civil war.
Who knows what will happen if the military is used against the people? I think it would lead to a breakup in the army.
Military experts claim that the army's embarrassing withdrawal from Kosovo, the fourth defeat in 10 years under Milosevic's leadership, has left all troops deeply bitter.
All too often, Army soldiers and reservists have returned from the front lines of Kosovo to this. Their towns bombed, factories destroyed, their jobs gone, and now their future very different from the one they thought they were fighting for.
In better days, over 35,000 were employed in this car factory, the average wage over $1,000 a month. Today, a few thousand workers clean up the massive rubble from NATO bombs. Their monthly wage, only $50. It is why Slobodan, Nedad, and Mirko, all reservists who fought in or near Kosovo, have joined an opposition party seeking Milosevic's resignation and early elections. They attend anti-Milosevic rallies, now almost a daily occurrence. Throughout Serbia, the site of army headquarters and barracks destroyed, and the memory of hundreds of comrades killed in Kosovo, raising for many the question, will the army's anger boil over and threaten Milosevic's regime? Jim Maceda, NBC News, Kragujevac, Yugoslavia.
The weather emergency continued today over much of the nation, with heat-related deaths now reported in Chicago as well as Cincinnati, where the death toll has reached 7. From California to Kentucky, triple-digit temperatures today. In Louisville, ambulances were sent to treat people who were overcome while attending a riverfront music festival sponsored by a local radio station. When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, we will see why underworld figures have taken a liking to Wall Street.
Sign here? Sorry, I only have a minute. In so many ways, in so many places, it keeps a million disasters a day from happening. It's like having a life insurance policy you never knew you had. Gotta go. It's plastics. There's my good girl. Plastics make it possible.
You didn't save me any?
It wasn't enough.
Quaker Toasted Oatmeal Squares. You haven't wanted a cereal this badly since you were a kid.
Great meal.
Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
When Americans take to the road, they generally take stuff.
We have the stroller, which has to be in the car at all times.
Transports my bike and anybody else that wants to go.
That's why Americans are switching to Chevy Malibu.
Powerful, roomy, comfortable.
Malibu offers a V6 and still costs over $3,000 less than Camry and Accord.
We're very happy we bought the Malibu.
The car you knew America could build. Malibu.
You can drive away in a new Malibu with your choice of low financing or $1,500 cash back. See your Chevrolet dealer today.
Monday, food and cholesterol, fat and salt. Do they make a difference in your diet? What foods are really good for your heart, your blood pressure? NBC Nightly News Monday.
In focus this evening, mobsters on the make. Organized crime's future can be seen in its past. Here's CNBC's Alan Chernoff.
Al Capone and fellow gangsters thrived during Prohibition, tapping huge profits through bootlegging. Later, Lucky Luciano and other bosses moved on to gambling.
I decline to answer that on the grounds it may tend to incriminate me.
In the 50s, televised hearings revealed the mob was influencing labor unions. Now in the 90s, organized crime is again reaching out for new sources of income. Bill Bonanno, son of legendary Godfather Joe Bonanno, says the mob has adapted with changing times.
We had bookmaking, and you threw us out because you got off-track betting. We had the numbers game, and you threw us out of that because you come up with the lottery. So what the hell is there left but us to go into legitimate businesses?
Legitimate businesses like the stock market, where the mob moves in illegitimate ways. Pump and dump schemes, pumping up prices of small stocks, then dumping them on unsuspecting investors. Just sentenced to 5 years in prison for stock fraud and extortion, Bonanno family capo Frank Curlilino, Bonanno associate Eugene Lombardo, and Ernest Butch Montevecchi, a Genovese family soldier. Sentenced to more than 8 years, Rosario Rossi Ganji, capo in the Genovese family, part of the largest group of organized crime members to be jailed for stock fraud. All pled to manipulating stock of Health Tech International in a conspiracy with the chief executive of the Arizona-based health club operator, former federal prosecutor James Bucknam.
The reality of it is, these are people who understand how to make money. They're going to make money in any arena in which that's feasible.
More stock fraud alleged in Tampa last month, an indictment against Phil Abramo, a capo in the DeCavalcanti family. Indictments in Brooklyn as well.
The scheme generated more than $10 million in illegal proceeds by defrauding hundreds of innocent victims.
Colombo family associates are accused of working with a Russian crime group.
We can no longer focus just on traditional organized crime as we have known it in this country. It has now become international in its consequence, international in its origin.
Organized crime groups have been seeking new ventures. Tough regulation of traditional mob-infiltrated businesses like construction and garbage carting have limited bid rigging and kickbacks. Now technology appears to be offering those new opportunities for organized crime. Crime families are running prepaid phone card scams, and law enforcement officials are keeping a close eye on internet gambling, worried that the mob is getting a piece of the action.
We have driven them into other areas that they have not historically been involved. And again, the examples cited are healthcare fraud, penny stock cases. A fraud committed over the internet certainly is something that has a potential. And these are the things that we're watching today.
In recent years, bosses of New York's major crime families have been put behind bars, down but not out of business. The mob of the new millennium will continue to pursue profits wherever it can. Alan Chernoff for NBC News, New York.
When we continue, will a tax cut make the cut in Congress?
It's time. Time for your heartburn to kick in because your heartburn relief gave out. It happens 2 or more days a week, even though you've treated it and changed your diet. That frequent, persistent heartburn may be due to acid reflux disease, potentially serious.
It's Prilosec time.
Time to see your doctor about prescription Prilosec. Your results may vary, but for many people, Prilosec provides 24 hours of complete heartburn relief with one daily dose. Ask your doctor for more information about Prilosec and if it's right for you. The most common side effects are headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain. 24 hours of complete heartburn relief is possible. It's Prilosec time.
When dentures dream, they see the perfect denture cleanser. One with the stain-fighting power of Efferdent and the freshening power of Listerine. Well, little friend, dream no more. It's really here. It's called Efferdent Plus, and it's the only denture cleanser that could make your dream come true. Efferdent Clean and Listerine Fresh. That's Efferdent Plus.
Boogie woogie, Rumble Brown, creamy, dreamy, Rumble Brown. It's got yogurt blended right in with the creamy taste of butter. You'll try again.
The goodness of yogurt, the creamy taste of butter with half the fat and calories. Must be Rumble Brown.
You can buy a Gateway Essential PC for $999, or you can buy a PC from a bargain basement company for $499. Then add a monitor, lots of software, 24/7 tech support, a year on the internet, and end up paying over $1,200. With Gateway, you'll get all that, and you still end up paying $999. Which one's the real bargain? Call 1-800-GATEWAY for a Gateway Essential PC with an Intel Celeron processor.
One salute, and he was in America's heart forever. From White House toddler to magazine publisher, the charmed and tragic life of JFK Jr. Tonight on MSNBC.
It's payback time. Bosses are begging for good employees. Name your price. Find out what you're worth and how to get it. Monday on CNBC's Business Center.
Battle lines between the Republican Congress and the Democratic White House hardened today over the size of a proposed federal tax cut. NBC's Joe Johns reports on the key sticking points.
Kevin and Michelle Clark got married this weekend in Wheaton, Maryland. The next time they file their income taxes, they expect to get hit with the marriage penalty. It's a quirk in federal tax law that causes some two-income couples to pay more total taxes together than they would have separately.
You join this holy matrimony, and then next thing you know, you're being penalized for it. It's penalized for falling in love.
The tax system is producing unexpected results and an unexpected burden on the two-worker household.
Reducing the marriage penalty is near the top of the Senate Republican priority list as Senate floor debate begins this week on a tax cut plan. Republicans also want a reduction in the tax rate on lower wage earners and an increase in the amount of money that can be contributed to individual retirement accounts. The price tag for the Republican cuts, $792 billion over 10 years. The White House wants to spend about $250 billion for tax cuts over 10 years, but a key Democrat wants compromise.
But there's obviously a number in between that we should be able to get together on. If we can, I think it's a pox on both political parties.
There are other disagreements. The House approved a capital gains tax cut, but the Senate bill doesn't even include one. Some say that will change.
I believe the final bill that is adopted by the Congress of the United States will have a capital gains change in it.
The White House threatens to veto the Republican plan. After that, the real bargaining begins. Joe Johns, NBC News, the Capitol.
When NBC Nightly News continues in a moment, a program that reaches out and nourishes the spirit.
Used to be, if I want something done right, I called me. It worked. Until I tried to quit smoking. I needed more than me. I got Nicorette. Nicorette helped me two ways. I used it on a regular schedule to help prevent my cravings, and for unexpected cravings, I was ready with an extra piece. I used to be a slave to cigarettes. Nicorette helped me hang on, helped me win. Now that I'm nicotine-free, I gotta tell you, it feels good to win.
Now Nicorette is available in mint. What a refreshing choice. You can do it. Nicorette can help.
This is Unisom Sleep Gels. It helps you sleep. This is Tylenol PM. It helps you sleep too. They both have the exact same amount of the exact same sleep ingredient. But Tylenol PM has added medicine for headaches, backaches, even fever. Do you have a headache? Backache? Fever? Then why take medicine for it? Take Unisom. It's a safe, non-habit-forming way to fall fast asleep.
Great meal.
Uh-oh, gas pressure. What now? What else? Gas X, with the most powerful medicine for fast relief. Nothing works faster.
Hey, want to go for ice cream?
Gas X, the power to fight gas fast.
My dentures always fit fine. I never thought of them as a problem until I saw the video of my son's wedding. It was then that I decided to try Fixodent.
Because Fixodent adjusts to the unique contours of your dentures and gums, forming a thin, powerful seal for a better hold than you ever thought possible.
It was like a whole new feeling, so snug and secure. For once, I actually forgot that I even wore dentures. So now, I like what I see.
Find out for yourself what it feels like to Fixodent and forget it.
This week on Today, the Space Shuttle Columbia lifted off with NASA's first female commander, Eileen Collins. We'll have continuing coverage of her historic mission this week on Today.
Get more of the Today Show with Later Today, coming in September.
Finally tonight, how art is inspiring some people who were short on hope. Here's NBC's Soledad O'Brien.
This is perfect chiaroscuro, shading and light.
Joan Aids, a patron of the arts, explaining Rembrandt's self-portrait to a group of homeless men in New York City.
And all his feelings are in the paintings.
Absolutely.
He did a great job.
These audiences are much more interesting than other audiences that I've had before because they're not inhibited. They're not inhibited, and they ask questions. Walk slowly and just feast your eyes.
It may be because Joan Aids is interested in the questions they ask. She's a volunteer for Project Renewal, an organization that houses the homeless, counsels them, and helps them find jobs.
I can see that I can make a difference and that I can be more positive and make people feel better about themselves.
Her philosophy, the arts enrich life. It all started with a slideshow on African art. Then Joan Aids decided to bring the men here, to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, something most of them had never done before. 40 men signed up for that first trip back in the spring. Each visit is carefully planned, from the paintings to be studied to the visit to the roof garden, where the man selling soft drinks told the group he had once been homeless too. His recovery gives them hope.
I was in rehab myself. I'm a daytop graduate.
Oh, all right. Okay.
The entire experience builds self-esteem and improves self-image.
Even though we're in the situation we are, she still shows interest. She goes out of her way to help us, come to this, place, and she does a lot for us.
She shows her caring in every way. I mean, in her gestures, in her voice, in her touch, everything she does. Very caring.
Joan Aids also exposes the men to music. Horizon Concerts raises money privately and hires young artists to perform in hospitals, nursing homes, and shelters for people who otherwise might never hear classical music.
You can see what music does. Music is therapy, and these people relate to it.
An uplifting experience through the arts that Joan Aids believes will lift them up. Soledad O'Brien, NBC News, New York.
That's NBC Nightly News for this Sunday. I'm Len Cannon. Thanks for watching, and for all of us here at NBC News, good night.
NBC News, America's news leader. A new Dateline